Welcome. I am Asa Lanham, the Chief Executive Officer of Innovaro, and this is the 10th video in our series on Launchpad Imagine. In this video, we're going to take a look in particular at the beginning of the elaboration stage, as you see here, and in particular step 6. What you see here in front of you is the normal login page when you first come into Imagine. And what I'm going to do before I jump into step 6 is I'm going to give you a quick overview or look back at step 5. If you remember in step 5, part of what we did was to take a look at putting in place a couple of key things. One of those was taking the large number of individual ideas that we had generated and to beginning to convert those into clusters. And here you can see the clusters of ideas. So at this point in time, we've got clusters of ideas, and we're ready to really start looking at how we make those into business platforms. And so what we do in step 6, which is part of the elaborate phase, is we really look at how do we build those clusters out. And what you see here, for example, is you see all of the clusters of ideas that we brought over from our previous session. And what in the middle here are a set of pre-configured questions that we've learned over time are important ones to ask and to answer about building the business platforms. Now, I should tell you that each of these questions is configurable. You can change it, you can add new ones, you can delete it. You get to put your own picture in here to do that. And the way you actually create a platform is really pretty simple. You take a look at some of the things that you've been looking at for idea clusters and say that one of the things that you're interested in maybe is exotic custom scent. So you're going to put that over here, and you're going to want to put that in travel over here, right? And think global, like local. So what you might have is you might have an idea for a business platform that's all about a group of products that's for business travelers that are going to be going around the world that want to be able to have the use of exotic or custom scents when they have their clothing done or things of that nature. That's how you create them. And then you give them a title and an ambition, and then you answer all these questions about them. And you can have as many business platforms as you want. Now I'm going to erase these because these are the ones just to show you how you do that. But let me show you the business platforms that were put together out of the idea clusters we had, and there were about 4 or 5 that we came up with, and the first one's personalized detergent. So let's take a look at that. In personalized detergent solutions, the business ambition is an ecosystem of cleaning solutions that provide flexibility, convenience, and control to people to really decide what they want. And the idea here is that you give information and you get personalized blending. Now, let me tell you a couple of points in here. When we were doing capture initially, one of the things that the team captured by looking in some entirely other areas as part of the process was that people that were smartphone users, people that were really into social media, were actually frankly willing to give up some information about themselves to get products and offerings that were more personalized to them. The other one they did is, as they were monitoring Twitter, was they got a tweet from a young man who lived in an apartment that didn't have a washer and a dryer, that had to go to the laundromat to do his clothes, and he happened to be there at the time, and he was really upset because basically every time he came to the laundromat, he had to buy a selection of soaps and softeners and dryer sheets and everything else, none of which really fit his needs, so he had to buy several things and blend his own, and then when he was finished, he threw them all away because he didn't have room to store them in his apartment, and he wasn't going to take them back and forth with him. So part of what we realized as we put those together and going through the ideas and the idea clusters, that there was an opportunity for a personalized detergent solution. And what we really talked about here is the target consumers, what forms the business would take, where its migration paths from a simple in-store do-it-yourself at home or web-based option to a full customizable option. And you can see there's a whole set of questions and answers in here. And these questions, again, are all tailorable, to the team and that. And you can build as many of these platforms and things as you want and take them forward. The other one thing that's important in here about the context is that this is great for the team working. You've still got team space and you've got learning space and all that. But when you want to share these ideas with others, it's important to be able to bring them out. So we have a button here called create a platform brief. And what that allows you to do very simply and very quickly is to create a PDF. And what this PDF does is it takes your ambition, it takes your title, it takes the information and the answers you've given it, it takes the data that makes this up in terms of the various clusters of ideas and that, and brings it all together into a single document that then can be circulated to other people to get their comments and questions on to help to flesh this out. So this is what it's about, going from a cluster of ideas to a platform, something that you can really start to take forward to people. So that's all I really want to talk about in this section on building growth platforms. And what we're going to do in the next section is we're going to take a couple of these ideas and bring them forward. And you notice how these are have the checks on them. You can create platforms that you don't take forward at this point in time. You can say, here's an idea, here's an idea, here's a platform, but we're not going to move this forward to a business concept, but I don't want to lose it. So by checking it, you bring it forward. If you don't check it, you don't lose it, but you don't bring it forward. So that way you can build out platforms for the future as well. That's all for this session. I thank you very much for your time.